Ever catch yourself, like, I don't know, picturing yourself rocking out on stage?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure I ever saw myself playing a Shijie. That's kind of what makes this whole deep dive interesting, right?
Yeah.
We're looking at this Shijie Stratocaster SSS PRO. And apparently some people are calling it a hidden gem, so
Yeah.
let's see if it lives up to the hype.
What's got my attention is how guitar makers are really focused on how the guitar actually feels to play now, you know? Like ergonomics. They're not just worried about specs anymore. This Shijie, for instance. Lightweight design, comfy neck, and they even mention rolled stainless steel frets.
Yeah, they're not messing around.
All signs point to a guitar that's made for, actually playing.
And it's not just about comfort either. It sounds like they're really serious about the sound quality on this.
Absolutely.
Which brings us to those SSS pickups.
Right. Now, if you're into that bright, really clear sound you get, especially for genres like, I don't know, rock, blues, that classic country twang, single coils are where it's at. And Shijie's coming out swinging, too.
They are.
Saying this guitar's right up there with the big boys like Fender and Gibson. Maybe even better.
They actually say that flat out. Rivals or surpasses, I think was the quote. And for way less money, too.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder if they're riding that, like, boutique brand wave we've been seeing. Smaller companies killing it with quality without the insane price tag.
Right. Like, that's happening everywhere, right? It's like the big names are hitting that point where you're not getting what you pay for anymore.
Right.
People are starting to see that. Like, maybe that logo isn't worth the extra grand.
Yeah.
Especially when these smaller brands are stepping up their game.
It's like that little hole-in-the-wall restaurant that just blows you away, right? But, and this is where it gets interesting, there's this whole part in the description about, get this, counterfeit Shijie guitars.
Yeah.
Kind of unexpected.
Yeah, definitely.
They actually warn people to make sure they're buying from, an authorized dealer or whatever, because apparently there are tons of fakes going around.
Wow.
Being sold for, even less. Kind of throws up a red flag, don't you think? What's that say about the brand?
Says they're onto something, that's for sure. I mean, fakes usually mean there's a demand, right?
Right.
Like there's a buzz and somebody's trying to cash in.
Makes sense.
That little detail, that's big. It actually says a lot about Shijie's potential.
So we've got a guitar that, at least on paper, is well made, designed to be played, sounds amazing, and doesn't break the bank.
Sounds promising.
The question is it all it's cracked up to be? We'll dive deeper right after this. So they're making some pretty bold claims, but there's this one part in the description that, I don't know, it kind of stuck with me. They call it a true high intermediate or advanced level guitar. But then they say, of course a beginner can play it, and it would even assist their playing. It's like they're trying to have it both ways.
It is a bit of a balancing act, but you can totally have a guitar that works for both beginners and, more experienced players. It's all about how it's put together, the parts they use, how it responds to like different playing styles.
So what is it about this Shijie that makes you think it could work for both?
Well, they mention custom 62 pickups made in Japan, and without getting too in the weeds, that level of detail on the pickups usually means they didn't cheap out on the electronics,
Right.
And then they get specific about the wood, roasted maple neck, alder body.
Okay, so for someone listening who's like, roasted maple, can you break that down a bit?
Totally. So those are tone woods, and each one sounds different, right?
Okay.
Roasted maple, that's known for a warm, resonant sound. You feel that sustain. And alder is super classic for guitar bodies, known for a really balanced tone, really versatile.
So they're using, like, quality stuff.
Exactly. Shijie's using materials that are known for producing a rich, high-quality sound.
Okay, but would a beginner, would they even hear that?
That's the cool thing about a well-made instrument, right? A beginner might not, consciously pick up on the nuances of tone woods or whatever,
Right.
but they'll feel it. That comfy neck, the smooth frets, the way the whole guitar vibrates, it all adds up to a really enjoyable playing experience.
Yeah.
And when you're first starting out, that can make all the difference.
For sure. It's all about that, spark that keeps you coming back. Right?
Exactly. If playing is a joy, you're way more likely to stick with it, put in the time to get better, find your own sound, and then as you get better, as your ear develops, you start to notice those little details, the things a good instrument can do. You start to hear how the wood and the pickups all work together.
It's like the guitar grows with you.
Yeah, kind of. It's less about just learning the ropes and more about exploring all the sounds you can get. And that's where a guitar like this Shijie, if they're telling the truth, could be really great.
Right.
It's a good starter instrument, but it also has that depth, that's something extra for experienced players.
So we've got this potential sleeper hit on our hands, but let's come back to those counterfeits for a sec.
Yeah.
What would you say to someone who's, interested in this Shijie but doesn't want to get ripped off? It's like, you know what they say.
If it sounds too good to be true,
Exactly.
it probably is,
Oh,
especially with guitars.
Right. So for anyone out there thinking about actually getting one of these Shijies, what's the best way to go about it?
Don't just, take our word for it.
Right.
Look around, see what other players are saying. There are reviews online, demos, comparisons, all of that.
Yeah, see what people who actually know guitars think.
Exactly. You can usually tell if the hype is real.
It's like we were talking about before, at those amazing restaurants you find off the beaten path.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to do a little digging, go beyond the big names to find something really special.
Absolutely.
And who knows? This Shijie Stratocaster, it might just be one of those diamonds in the rough.
See, and that's what I love about this whole thing.
Yeah.
It's not even just about this one guitar.
Right.
It's about looking at value and quality in a new way. Being open to something new. Realizing that sometimes the underdog, really delivers.
Makes you wonder what other hidden gems are out there.
Right?
In the guitar world and, I don't know, everywhere else too.
Exactly. That's what's so great, There's always something new to discover.
For sure. Well, that about wraps it up for this deep dive into Shijie guitars. For everyone listening, keep an open mind, all right? Do your research. Don't be afraid to try something new. You never know what you might find. And hey, if you do check out this Shijie Stratocaster SSS PRO, let us know what you think.
Definitely. We want to hear from you.
Until next time, keep exploring.